Hey guys, so I had a nightmare where my dad was an octopus. Wait a minute. So to help cope with that nightmare, I want to experience what it would actually be like if it was real. But there's no way there's a game about that. What do you mean there is? Video games are able to show us so many things and concepts and ideas to allow us to experience basically anything. So it makes sense that eventually someone would make this game, because who doesn't want to become an octopus leading a double life? Released in 2010, the first version of Octodad was released, and the world forever changed. This is it before Octodad, and this is it after. Everything changed! This game you play as a caring octopus taking care of his family. What a nice guy. You had light stealth elements where you tried to blend in and not be too octopusy, since that's the #1 reason for divorce in the US. You go around, do tasks for your family, and this idea, though not blowing up at the time, fascinated devs behind the game, and thus they began to work on Octodad Deadliest Catch. The game opens up on the day Octodad is here getting married to the girl that's somehow into all of this. And yet I can't get a single date with anyone. After a short cutscene, we're thrown into the gameplay, and yep, that's vomit. Yeah, this game sure does control, and that's the best I can say about it. The game, unlike most games, sees the control of absolutely every single limb of Octodad. You can move your arms, legs, in any possible direction you wish. And that's where the main challenge of the game comes into play, with you trying to be as normal as possible despite controlling like you're 10 years deep. However, this is also where the fun comes into play. The game, sure, it controls weird, but it never gets frustrating. Well, sometimes it does. Heck, I'd argue it's mostly just funny watching you fumble the character around, trying so desperately to fit into this world. It helps that the game's world is even just as goofy. The game has really sharp and clever writing that always gets a laugh out of you. Needless to say, this game is quite charming. Anyways, you walk through the hallways getting dressed for your big day, and desperately try to put a bow tie on. This is harder than my taxes, what the hell? Then you finally live the dream and get married to a person who's into fish lips, and then waking up years later, you find out you somehow produce human kids. I would ask how, but I feel like that answer would just traumatize me. Anyways, you wake up after noon, you lazy bum, and begin your chores for the day, like giving milk to your daughter, drinking the most disgusting coffee ever. I think that's enough to warrant cooking Octodad up. Then you mow your lawn, pluck weeds, and serve your kids undercooked hamburgers. Just another Tuesday. And then you fight for your life against a crazy chef trying to lawnmower you to death. Yep, as I said, just another Tuesday. Then afterwards, your wife brings up the idea of going to an aquarium, aka fish prison, which, a shocker, Octodad isn't into. I guess he's not that much of a freak after all. But then his wife has the power play of the century and decides to go get groceries first. And this tricks Octodad, since Octodad has the brain of, oh yeah, an octopus. He then goes to the store and crawls through the vents for a single pizza box, steals display items, other customers' food, and gives his daughter the worst kind of apple. And then he eats sushi, the cannibal. What's wrong with this guy? Thankfully, the chef soon comes after to put him out of his misery, but sadly Octodad escapes and gets to live another day, that freaking bastard. But then the trickery of his wife unfolds and he's given a choice, go to fish hell or get divorced. Well, most marriages end in divorce anyway, so I know what I would choose, but Octodad decides not to be a wuss, and goes to fish jail anyways. While also playing Metal Gear Solid to avoid racist fish scientists, who for some reason don't like the idea of an octopus having a sexual relationship with a human. And they're the bad guys? After finally entering the aquarium, we're given a choice of where to go. I decided to first repair my broken marriage, via gambling in the aquarium arcade and showering my spouse with children's toys. And somehow, this doesn't work. What do you mean they patched that method? And then all of a sudden the aquarium bursts open and for some reason I have to fix it? Why did I feel like this is racially motivated? Did I plug up the holes before being yelled at by my wife? Well, you know what they say, if you can't fix your wife, go beat your kids. Wait, they don't say that. Anyways, you then go to the deep dark and find your annoying ass nerd emoji ass daughter. God, I hate this family. For some reason, this part of the aquarium is just completely broken, so I have to fix it. Again, why am I doing all of this shit? Eventually, we escape the aquarium depths before not being met with the most horrifying challenge in the game. Escalators going the wrong way. God, don't jump scare me like that. Eventually, we make it past this freak show and find ourselves in Kelp World with our annoying ass son. Again, screw this family. Also, screw this aquarium. You're telling me your biggest exhibit is based on kelp? What the heck? Anyways, we play various minigames here like touch the giant ball, grab these spiky balls, defend these balls, reach for this ball on a stick. I'm seeing a trend here. Then we're met with the hardest challenge in the game ever. Heck, any game, period. The dreaded kids play area. Then we are finally allowed to leave. Thank God, we can leave the aquarium now. What do you mean I have to talk to my wife again? But turns out, oh no, we've been bamboozled by the chef, and we are now just an octopus. Then we get a flashback of how he first became an octodad. Octodad has lore? Turns out one day we boarded the ship and decided, screw being an octopus, I'm gonna commit interspecies relationship. Honestly, kind of based. This level though isn't. I tried doing a speedrun tech for like 10 minutes before I pulled it off, lame. But then we have to lock in, and after getting chased by a shark for some reason, again, who runs this aquarium? We then play Metal Gear Solid and sneak into the aquarium after hours trying to save our family. We then have an intense final battle with the chef as he burns the whole place down trying to deep fry us. How noble of him. But then Octodad prevails and fishes him, a true nightmare, before forgiving him. You weak ass, just stab him. This guy came up to your wife and your kids and tried to kill you for years, and you just forgive him? Man, just make out with him already, I know you want to. But then the game is over, with one of our kids asking a very important question.
Puss, then where did me and Stacy come from?
Kid, it's best you don't know. So that's Octodad. I beat it in less than 2 hours. Is Octodad not worth the money? Well, there is some content we still gotta play through, such as 2 whole extra levels. These are longer than normal levels though, being about 30 to 20 minutes each. So let's talk about them, because who else will? First up is Dad Romance, where you see a date between the 2 lovebirds, or I guess love freaks in this case, because this is not normal. However, during this date, for some reason Octodad is told to work as a waiter for some reason, and honestly, it makes no sense, but it is pretty funny. Heck, we even get to see the chef again, who's completely oblivious to the octopus that's ruining his life. Also, this place is not passing any health inspections. The pizza's on the floor. Next is Medical Mess, and we're a nurse now. And you do nurse things like get yelled at and fetch donuts for people. Wow, what a fun job. But then one of your patients freaking dies. So now you have to save his life. So after you do some robo surgery on him, you undie him. And now you're done. So now what does my playtime look like? Still less than 3 hours. Okay, now what? Well, don't tell anyone, but there's another secret level buried in a toilet in one of the stages. And this is the most frustrating part and unfun part of the game. God damn it. This level is like the Champion's Road of sorts in Octodad. A hard as hell bullshit level that is frustrating as all hell. It took me 30 minutes to beat, but hey, the game is now 3 hours long. And that's Octodad, and though it certainly has its issues, it's quite charming to say the least, with fun gameplay, witty writing, and fun jokes to keep you hooked. It's the kind of game that could not be made by a AAA studio. Do you think a AAA studio could have made this? Hell no. This is oozing with charm, and despite being a little short, I highly recommend this game for everything it does right. So, have you played this game? What are your thoughts on it? Make sure to leave them down in the comments below and like the video and subscribe. And as for how I would feel if my dad was an octopus, I've decided I hate it, and if it was real, I'd probably just eat calamari that night.